Hello everyone, welcome to our video deploying Azure Data Factory with CI/CD using Azure Pipelines. So in this video, we will get an overview about big data, raw data, and how Azure Data Factory can help me transform the big data into an intelligent information. Also, we will get an overview how to build different Azure Data Factory environments like development, staging, or UAT and production, and how to build a CI/CD that can deploy the data factory pipelines and different components from one environment to another. So I will start by giving what is the problem of the big data. So what is the challenge of using the big data? Then we will get an overview about what is Azure Data Factory. After that, we will understand how Azure Data Factory works. Then we will get an overview about Azure Data Factory CI/CD workflow with animation. In this workflow, we will understand how the steps to build the environment, different environment, and how the pipeline and different component will be structured so we can have this promotion from one environment to another. And then we will go for the demo. But before that, let me give you a quick introduction about myself. My name is Mohammed Radwan. I'm a developer technologies MVP and principal DevOps consultant. I have been doing software development for more than 15 years now, worked on several projects for different enterprise customers across different regions and countries. I heavily participated in the community, developed several frameworks, presented many sessions, holding various certificates for Azure and DevOps. I started back in 2002 as a classic ASP developer, relocated multiple times in multiple countries, worked with several technologies and for different roles and positions. And for the last 8 years, I moved to consultancy-based role where I focused more on helping different companies, some of them from the Fortune 500, to improve their software development and delivery using DevOps and automation. I have developed and authored several frameworks, command line tools, and guides. You can find them on GitHub and Azure DevOps Marketplace. I like to share my experience. This is why I have a YouTube channel and blog where they have hundreds of videos and posts that share different topics from my real experience. I have presented many sessions in several user group conferences, events, and customer site as well in different countries. So I got the chance and the opportunity to work in different culture, project size, and company size as well, which helped me to have different experience. Here are some links for my activities. Okay, the problem with the big data. In the world of big data or raw data, unorganized data is often stored in relational or non-relational and other storage system. However, this raw data doesn't have the proper context for meaning or providing any meaningful insights because again, it's huge data. So the analyst or the data scientist can't use this data. So they can't make any decision based on this raw data. Big data requires services that can orchestrate and operationalize process to refine these huge stores of raw data into actionable business insights. For example, just imagine an example of gaming company that collect petabytes of games logs that are produced by the game in the cloud. This company wants to analyze these logs to gain insight into customer preferences or demographics, for example, and usage behavior. It also wants to identify upsell and cross-sell opportunities, develop, for example, new features, or drive business growth, and provide a better experience to its customer. And to extract this insight, it's using Spark cluster in the cloud, which, for example, Azure HD Insight, and publish the transformation data into a cloud data warehouse, for example, such as Azure SQL Data Warehouse, to easily build a report on the top of it. They want to automate this workflow and to monitor and manage it on a daily schedule. They also want to execute when files land into a container or storage and so on. So the question, how we can do that? How we can do this transformation with this big or huge data? And the answer is Azure Data Factory. So what is Azure Data Factory? Azure Data Factory is a cloud managed solution that built for complex big data solutions with hybrid extract transformation loading, extract load transformation, and data integration projects. So it's a cloud-based ETL platform and data integration services that allows to create data-driven workflows for orchestrating data movement and transformation data at scale. Because it's cloud-based, then the scalability is very high. Using Azure Data Factory, we can create and schedule data-driven workflows called pipelines that can eat data or swallow data from disparate data stores. We can build complex ETL process that transform data visually with data flows or by using compute services such as Azure HD Insight, Hadoop, Azure Databricks, and Azure SQL Database. Additionally, we can publish our transformation data to a data store such as Azure SQL Data Warehouse for business intelligence, application to consume. Ultimately, through Azure Data Factory, raw data can be organized into meaningful data stores and data lakes for better business decisions. So how Azure Data Factory works? To understand that, let's look at usually we have a data source and destination. So for example, let's say I have a data source which it could be SQL, could be Amazon S3 storage or any other data source type, variety of data source. And we have a destination which could be Azure Storage account, it could be a SQL, it could be Azure SQL Warehouse, Data Warehouse. It's again variety of destination. And then I just want to move extracting, transformation, and loading my data from the source to the destination. And in order to do that, then I work with Azure Data Factory. It's a cloud platform for ETL solutions. By using Azure Data Factory, I can build ETL pipelines that identify what is the source and what is the destination. And this pipeline use link services that the link service contains the information about the connection between the source and the destination. And then also the dataset, which including the connection dataset to this source and destination, and also triggers. Azure Data Factory can use integration runtime that compute infrastructure by Azure Data Factory to provide the following data integration capabilities across different network environments. For example, this integration runtime can execute data flow, can make the data movement, or even make SSIS execution package in a native way. This is why we have three types of integration runtime. The first is the Azure native or the cloud Azure solution. The second is the self-hosted, and the third is the Azure SSIS, which is a way of lift and shift the SSIS workload, so we can create an Azure SSIS that natively execute SSIS packages. Let's look at the Azure Data Factory CI/CD workflow with animation so we can understand what will happen and how we can build this CI/CD to promote our deployment from one Azure Data Factory environment to another. We will start by creating a resource group, and inside this resource group, I will have a three Azure Data Factory, one for dev environment, one for UAT, and one for production. And inside the Azure Data Factory for the development, I will start building my pipelines, the ETL pipelines. So these pipelines will communicate with data source and destination source. And then by using that, we will also have a link services that, linking the information between the source and the destination, and of course, other components like dataset and others. And for the other environment like UAT or production, how we are going to promote our development ETL and link services and all other components from the dev environment to the UAT to the production. So in order to do that, the first step is I need to enable Git on Azure DevOps, or I can even using GitHub. Once I did that, this will create a repo and will create a master branch, which will be the collaboration branch on this repo. Then now I wanted to develop maybe new pipelines, new Azure Data Factory pipelines or ETL pipelines or more data, extracting data with link services and so on. So I started creating a feature branch where I will add more ETL pipelines or more, link service and so on. By creating this feature branch, it will create a branch on Azure DevOps. Let's say, for example, a feature one. And once I complete all my changes, it will only these changes will be in feature one branch. And then I will raise a pull request. All of that using the Azure Data Factory user interface. And then once I raise the pull request, it means that I would like to merge my changes from the feature one to the master branch. Once I merge it, the feature one to the master, it means all the new ETL pipelines from the feature branch now exist in the master branch. Now I can go for the Azure Data Factory and start publishing the changes, which will generate this publish process will create ADF publish branch. So this publish branch includes the ARM template that represent all the ETL pipelines, link services, triggers, and dataset, and all other components now exist in the EDF publish branch. Now, all what I need is just move this to the other environment. So how can I do that? The next step that the CD will trigger it, because I set a trigger on the continuous delivery pipeline. Once the EDF publish branch is updated, this will automatically trigger the CD pipeline. So the first step in the CD pipeline, that Azure pipeline will start getting a PowerShell script from the master branch and then getting the ARM template that represent the dev environment from the EDF publish branch, and then start deploying the PowerShell script to the UAT. And using this PowerShell script, I will stop the trigger in this environment and then deploying the ARM template to this environment and then executing the ARM template, which will create all the pipeline, link services, trigger, and all other components, and then doing the same for the production environment. Stop the trigger using the PowerShell script and then deploying the ARM template, which has all the ETL pipeline and link services, and of course, other components. So let's see the demo for that. If I open my Azure subscription and click refresh, this is the current resource groups I have. Then I will click on add to create a new resource group. I will name my resource group ADF-RG or resource group and choose the closest data center, which is UK South. Then review and create. And click refresh, give some times. We can see now I have the EDF resource group. Then navigate back to create resource, go to analytics, choose Data Factory. And here I will put the name for Data Factory ADF ROD1. It's a unique name. So dev, and I will choose the resource group created earlier. And here the same data source, UK South. And here I can put the information for the Git enable, which is the Git URL, the repo name, the branch name, the root folder, all of that. But I will use this configuration later. So let's now create the Azure Data Factory. And while creating the first Azure Data Factory, let's create the second one for UAT, Analytics, and Data Factory, EDF ROD1 UAT, which is user acceptance testing, the same resource group, no enable Git, and then create the third Data Factory for production, the same, So EDF prod1 prod or production, the same resource group, and disable Git. So now I created the three data factory, and then going for the resource group, we can see I have two, and the third is still creating. If I navigate back to create a storage account, so this storage account, I will use it just an example of ETL or extracting transformation loading information. And here I will choose the same resource group, and I will name my storage account storage account rod11. It's a unique name as well. Let's copy that so I can use it in the second storage account and create. While it's creating, let's create the second one, storage account, the same resource group. And here is the name. I just change 1 to be 2 and create, review, and then create. So now let's navigate to the resource group. Then we should now have 3 Azure Data Factory and 1 resource group and 1 storage account, and the second storage account in the process of the creation. So now let's navigate to the first Azure storage account and just create a container. So I will just go here to the block container, create a block container, just name it my source file 1. And then inside this container, I will just upload a text file, just a sample that I put it in the desktop. I will show you a test file. So this test file, just including test data. I will use it as an example. So just to close that. And now let's get back to the resource group, click refresh. Now we have the second storage account created. So let's now navigate to the Azure DevOps. And now I will start to create a new project. And this project, I prefer using Agile process. I will name the project EDF Proj and click create. Now this is a project. If I navigate to the repo, we can see I only have one repo, which is the EDF Proj, the same name of the project. If I navigate to the Azure subscription, and then let's navigate to the Azure Data Factory Dev Environment, open the UI for Data Factory. This is for the dev environment. And we can see here is the option where I can set the Git enable. Also, if the Git enable is configured, we can see in this location. So now I will open the edit and start Git enable from inside. So as we can see here, I can select Azure DevOps or GitHub. And then here I will select the Azure DevOps account. But as you can see, I can't see my organization where it has my new project. And in order to fix that, even if I change the directory, I still can see it. And in order to fix that, I need to navigate to Azure DevOps and going to the organization settings and link my Active Directory to this organization. So I need to connect the Active Directory. And now I have DevOps Visions, connect. Now it's connected to my organization, my Azure Active Directory. And this will require sign out and sign in. So now I will navigate back to the Azure Data Factory, and let's now refresh. So set up a Git, Azure DevOps Git. And then here, as we can see, I can see the Azure DevOps session because I linked the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. But for the project, I can't load the project. And in order to fix that, I just need to sign out. So I will sign out and re-sign in. And here I will select the subscription and the dev environment. And then set up the code Git again, Azure DevOps Git, Azure DevOps Sessions. And now I can see the project, which is ADF Proj. And then here I will create a new repo. I will call it ADF repo. And the collaboration branch is master, and I will leave the root as /. Then apply. So as we can see, it's now disappear the logo of the Git. And on the top right, I can see the Git repo settings. And if I click on that, I can navigate to the Open Management Hub, where I can see the connection, the project, the repo, and so on. This is the branch name of the publish branch, the root folder. So let's navigate to the repo, and now we can see that the repo is created and it's empty with just a README file. Okay, now navigate back to the Azure Data Factory UI, and let's build a pipeline. So I will go for the edit and start building the pipeline here. And before that, let's open all the EDF other environments, the UAT. So this is the UAT environment, Azure Data Factory UAT. And let's open the production. And let's organize them. Put the dev environment first, then the UAT. After that, the production. And put the Azure DevOps before them. That's correct. And now let's design our pipeline. So going to the dev environment, this is our area. So here, as you can see, the collaboration branch is the master branch. So what I need to do is first is to start creating a new branch. If I navigate here, I only have the master branch. We can see here. So in order to develop ETL pipeline, what I need to do is just create a new branch for my work. Let's say a feature branch. Then I will name it according to my name convention. Let's say feature one. And then start here creating ETL pipeline. Let's use a copy, for example, copy data, which will copy data from source to destination. And in the source, I will select new and choose the Azure Blob Storage binary file. And here I will create new link services and using the Azure subscription, my Azure subscription. And here I will choose Azure Storage Account 1 as a source for this link services. This will be published immediately. So now the link service is published. I will show you. Published here, it means that it will create a code. So let's see in the repo. If I go for the master, we can see that the feature one Now published, and it has one link services that I just created. So this is, and the EDF branch as well, and this is, and it just including a temporary information about the publishing. So let's navigate to feature one, and now to the dev, and continue on developing the pipeline. So here I will open, which will open the Azure Storage account, browse, and here my blob container. This is the source, and then get back to the pipeline and start set the destination, which will be a storage account as well, and choose binary. And here I will create a new link services, which include the connection string to the second Azure storage container that will be using as a destination. The same, the link service will be published. Let me show you now the published link services. Let's go for repo and refresh here. This is the feature one branch. So we can see I have now two link services. So get back here again and let's continue. So if I open the binary browse, but it seems I forgot to create a blob container. So let's navigate to Azure Storage Account 2 and create a blob container for the destination. So I will create a blob container, let's say my destination folder. Now I created, and let's navigate to Data Factory Dev, refresh. So now it's appear. So now I have created one pipeline which will move the binary file from the storage 1 to the storage 2 in a blob containers. So let's save all. And if I refresh now, we can see now I have the dataset, which include the binaries. Also, I have the pipelines. This is the information of the pipeline. And all of that information in the feature one branch. This is a dataset which includes the binary files, the binary dataset. So now this is the pipeline. So also I can validate the pipeline, and this is why I create the blob container, because in order to publish the pipeline, it needs to be valid pipelines. This is why I have to create a blob containers. So this will validate the pipeline. So for example, if I didn't, let's say I didn't put a destination or a source, and if I validate, this will show me the error, as you can see. Let me go to another area, and so if I click here, this will bring me to the where is the error located, and then I just change to the actual destination. So now it's validated, means everything is working fine. So just to show you here, as you can see, this is a destination blob container and it doesn't include the file. So if I go now, refresh, it's not included. So if I go now and click debug, this will execute the pipeline, which will copy the file from the source to the destination. Just to give it the time until it complete. Now it succeed. So if I now get back here, I can see the file copied and including the data. So let's delete the file, not soft delete, and then get back to the dev environment. So now I validate everything is valid. I debug and everything is fine. Now I will save that. And now all this changed still in the feature branch. I'm still in the feature branch here. So the next step is I just need to bring that to the master branch. So if I go, for example, with the EDF branch, I still don't have all these changes. But I can't publish within the feature branch because this is not the collaboration branch. If I click publish, for example, from the collaboration branch, which is the master branch. So what I need is just creating a pull request to merge these changes with the master branch. So create a pull request. So let me show you here all the branches. So this is the EDF branch, feature one master. And this is the EDF branch with the temporary files. So now here in the in the dev environment, I will just raise the pull request. So the pull request will create a pull request, let's say complete feature one, because I completed develop the feature one. And then I will merge this pull request, don't delete. So now it's merged with the master branch, feature one. So if I navigate now back to, we can see the EDF publish still because I didn't publish. I just merged the change from feature branch to the master, but this branch still doesn't include any update because I didn't publish. So if I refresh, still the same. And if I go now for the master branch, this is the one that's updated. And as we can see, this is the change which merged after the pull request. Let's now navigate again to, this is the EDF branch, to the dev environment. And now we need to navigate to the master branch. And now I will just, as we can see now, I have the changes in the master branch and I will just click publish. And just to show you here, this is the EDF branch, publish. So now when I click publish on the master branch, this will publish the changes to the EDF publish branch. So publishing complete, and it will, let me refresh here, just see how this will change. So as you can see now, it is the same name as the EDF environment or Azure Data Factory environment. And inside that, it includes all the ARM templates that represent everything. This is the link services, and it just published now. And this is the ARM template for all the component, and this is the parameter file. So now I publish that. So the next step is how to move these changes now to the UAT and the production environment. So in order to do that, let's show you here. This is the pipeline for UAT, it's still empty. And this is the production. It's still empty as well. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is here, this is the master. So what I'm going to do is just to create a new file. The file here, I will name it cicd.ps1. This will be a PowerShell script. And I will just copy a code from Microsoft that will be used to stop the trigger. It will be at the top, at the bottom here. Copy that. And this will paste it here. This will be commit this code. I will use this script to stop the trigger of the ADF and then create a new pipeline, a release pipeline. So the first here, I will just empty pipeline and I will name the stage UAT, then close this. And for the source, for the artifact, I will choose the repo, choose my project, and the repository will be the EDF repo. And the first branch will EDF publish, which including the ARM template. And here I will just put the alias EDF publish underscore source. Another data source, repo, EDF project. This will be the same repo. And this will be for the master branch. And I will use the same convention for the name or the alias name, which is underscore EDF master source. And then for the UAT, I will start adding tasks. The first task is Azure PowerShell. So this task, I will just add the service endpoint to my Azure subscription. And here I will navigate to the place where I created the PowerShell script. This is the ARM template. I'm not going to use that. So this is the CI/CD. So, and for the argument, I will override the argument. Let me show you here. This is to stop the trigger. So just copy that. So let me show you how I will change that. So first, this part, I will put the artifact source alias, which is in my case underscore EDF underscore publish underscore source. And then here I will put the name of the source control folder. Let me remember that. If I navigate here, going to the EDF publish, we can see that this is the name of the folder. So replace that. Now this is, and now here I will put the name of the resource group, which is EDF-RG. And then I will take the name of the destination data factory, which is in my case, it will be Azure. Let me copy from here better. EDF Rod1 UAT. This is the destination. Now my parameter ready, then copy all this argument. And now just to put it here. And this is now ready. Just click here to make sure, yes. True, and this false. Okay. And then here I will choose latest PowerShell and just rename the task to be stop triggers. Again, this is just a display name. And I will copy that task or clone this task. And the name of the second task will be clear or clean resources and start triggers. And instead of false here, because this will be start, to be true. And let's add ARM deployment. This will deploy the ARM. And here I will just choose my Azure subscription endpoint and choose the subscription and the resource group EDFRG, the location in UK South, and the template I will navigate where is the EDF publish template, which is the ARM template factory, and the parameter will be the parameter file. All of that generated when I click publish from the master or corporation branch. Now I will override the parameters. So let me show you what I'm going to override. So as you can see, just the factory name with the actual destination factory and all the connection strings that I will need them. So here just take this part, which is the factory name. And then here's the target EDF name, which in my case, the UAT. And of course, I need to put them in double quotation, the name in double quotation because it's string. Then space, then the name of the connection, and the best is to go for the repo and go to here. This is the name of Azure Blob Storage, and this is the name of the parameter. I can copy from here better and just put it here and space, double quotation to put the value, and to put the connection string to the Azure Storage container. This is the second one. Let me put the name first, hyphen, and the name of the connection string and the value. And I will navigate back to the Azure Storage container. So to the Azure Storage container to get the key, open both of them. So I can navigate to the access key for the Azure Storage container and copy the connection string. And of course, if I would like to use a shared access signature, which is less permission and it can be expired and so on, this will be better and generate SAS. But again, in my case, it's just a demo purpose. So I will use just the connection string. So let's copy that connection string and put it here for the value 1 and copy the connection string for the storage 2 and put it as a value 2. Now I have that as the override the parameter, copy that, navigate to the pipeline and put it here. So now it seems everything ready. I just name the release pipeline, Azure Data Factory CD or continuous deployment, and save. I need also to fix the order because the stop trigger should be the first task and the clean resource and the start is the third one. So I will put here the stop trigger and make the clean the last one. Now it's ready. Let's save. And let's navigate now to the source, edit the release pipeline because I want to make continuous deployment automatically trigger. So I will put here on the automatic trigger that enable, and I will put filter. This is for this branch or this repo, and I will select this branch, which means that when this branch updated, trigger the release pipeline. This is a continuous deployment trigger. So I put filter here. Okay, now I save and get back to the Azure Data Factory development environment. So this is the other environment. And for the development environment, again, we are in the master branch. So again, I need to follow all the life cycle again. So this is the development branch. I'm in the master branch, and then I should do my changes in the feature branch. So I will go for my feature branch, or maybe create a new feature branch, do all my updated, maybe new pipelines, or updated the existing pipelines. Let me give a very simple change, which is just to update the name of the pipeline, or the name of the value for the pipeline, and then click save, then create a pull request. Here, just create new feature, then approve, complete. Now my changes merged to the master. So if I go now for the master branch, we will see that it has the new name, which is including update 1, which means my changes merged from the feature branch to the master, but nothing triggered because the EDF publish is still the same. It is not, I didn't publish yet, so the release pipeline not running. And of course, this is the update merged to the master. So let's go for the EDF publish branch. And now I will just go to the master branch and click publish. So the publish here will update the branch, the EDF publish branch, and this will trigger the release pipeline, which include, of course, the EDF publish branch. It will include all the new ARM template. And then the pipeline will pick them and start deploying them to the other environment. So let's refresh here so you can see it just now. And we can see that the release pipeline automatically trigger. And I can see here, this is the UAT start deploying, stopping the trigger, download the artifact, stopping the trigger, deploying the ARM. And here, if I open, we can see that this includes the new changes. Deploying the ARM template now. And then the trigger. So now it's run successfully. So this is the UAT. If I refresh now, we can see now I have the pipeline, which means that the pipeline, the Azure pipeline deployed the ETL pipeline to the UAT environment. I have the dataset and everything. And the same, if I want also to create the production environment, I just clone this stage and name that as a production or prod, and do small modification, because here the destination of the data, Azure Data Factory. No, this is the source of the file. It will be the same, but here Data Factory destination, this will be prod. And this is for stop, so it's false. And here for deploying the ARM template, also I will put the destination of the data factory, which is production, prod. That's it. And for start the trigger, will be also start the trigger for the production data factory. and then just click Save. And now this is the production environment. As you can see, pipelines is 0. If I refresh, pipeline is still 0. Then let's run a release, create a release, which will deploy to UAT and production again. So of course it will redeploy to the UAT and then deploying to the production. This is a manual trigger, but of course with the automated trigger, with every update to the publish branch, it will do the same. So this is running the deployment to the UAT. And then the production will start doing the same. Download artifacts, stop the trigger, deploy the ARM template, including the ETL pipelines, link services, triggers, datasets, and then clean the resources and start the triggers again for the Azure Data Factory. So if I look at the release, both of them successfully, if I navigate to the production Azure Data Factory, refresh, now we can see I have the pipelines deployed with datasets and all of that. Okay, the last thing is how can I parameterize the variables or the parameters, the argument in the ARM template. So in order to do that, for example, as you can see, I have here, this is the parameters. If I want to parameterize that, if I want to change that, in order to do that, for example, I want to change the type from secure string to be string, or from the name, I want to change the name of this variable. So in order to do that, I just use override these values. Let me show you how. I will create a new file. So if I navigate back here, this is the name of the file. It's called ARM template parameter definition JSON. And in this file, I will type the override values. I put here an example. So as you can see, for example, here, this is the connection string to be secure string. So I will change the type from secure string to be string. And also I will change the name from the connection string to be CS, or let's change that to better name. Let's say con str and make the S capital. So this will changing the parameter names, because if I want to modify that, the generated ARM template by the publish. So now if I committed that, and let's navigate to the dev environment. Again, this is, I will do that directly to the master to save time. So what I want you to understand that let's, for example, do some changes. I will change that again to be updated to, and then save all, and then click publish. So when I click publish, what will happen? When the Azure Data Factory will publish the changes to the repo, it will look and see this file. And based on this file, it will change the generated argument type or name or values and so on. So now I click publish. Let's now navigate. Still the publishing pipelines executed. Yes, now it's complete. So if I refresh now, as you can see just now, if I refresh to the content, and here this is the parameter, we can see now I have new parameters. As you can see, this is the old one because I left it, and also this is the new one with the new name. And if I go, this is the parameter file. If I go for the ARM file, this is, and as you can see, the type is a string. So I managed to parameterize and changing how I want to generate the ARM, what the values I want to parameterize, and so on. So this is the file I can change that. At the end, I would like to thank you for watching the video. Please, if you have any question or comment, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find more information on my blog, which will appear at the end of the video, along with some other related video. Thank you.